Good morning everyone, and welcome to the Whole Health Project. I'm Stella from Stella Movement, and today it's just a 45-minute session, part 2 on the hips. I have previously done another hip session on the Whole Health Project, so do go back and do that. Some of that builds on what we've done today, some things I don't repeat, so it's really nice to mix and match and see which one works for you. As always with a session, it is donation based. If you're in any position to donate, I do appreciate it, but if not, no problem. Please just keep sharing the love of the Whole Health Project and sharing the Facebook group to your friends. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm going to start standing, but first of all, just a couple of props that you will need. And I know some of you might not have blocks, yoga blocks at home, like such as this, and these are quite the sturdy ones, but you can improvise with books or something that can kind of stand up. If it doesn't work for you for this session, you can always find something, come back and redo it, because there is one part where we do use 2 blocks. Okay, so starting off everyone, you're going to come to standing, and what I'd like you guys to do is, and I'm just going to tilt the camera so everyone can see, is just really to compare from start to finish how we feel in a squat and a Cossack lunge. So starting off, take your feet as wide as you want to go, how you would normally squat, and just start to move up and down. Yeah, so it might be first thing in the morning for you, you might be tuning a little bit later, but what I want you guys to feel is how the quality of the movement is within your hip joints. Whether you're feeling that it just goes into the knees, you have lack of mobility, if it represents like this, where the hips don't really move. We're going to be opening up through the hips and working quite a lot of active range mobility and strength work, and we'll compare at the end. So this is always just an internal inquiry into your own body. We are all slightly different, especially we have different hip joints as well. Some of us will be able to go deeper, have greater mobility, some of us will have a more lack of mobility. So go at your own pace. All right, couple more. And just tune in now to how that feels for you. And we're going to hold on this one. Good, and just feel, where's the weight in your feet? Yep, can you feel it nice even from the big toe, little toe center of the heel? Can you feel or experience that depth in your hips? Yep, the thigh bones pulling deep back that way. Maybe you could go a little bit deeper. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then come up, come sideways. Cossack lunge. So take your legs a little wider. And you're just going to lunge into one leg, deepening in that hip fold, and rising back up. Again, this is an inquiry. How does this movement feel? Does it feel different from leg to leg? How deep can you go? Yeah. So it's quite early in the morning for me. I'm not going very low. However, you're wanting to feel that your tail, your sit bones can drop down. Yeah. So maybe we can start to play around with sinking the hips and feeling that weight, like your sit bones have heavy weights on them and they're dropping down. Let's just go for 4 more each side. It'll warm up in itself. Another 3. Quite often when we move into our squats, the spine can move quite a lot, and there's nothing wrong with that, but for the session today, I want us to really focus on the good quality movement in the hips and try to avoid moving the spine as much. Last one on each side. All right, guys. So we're going to compare those at the end. Come on down, we'll come into a standing roll down, and once again, I'm just going to make sure everyone can see me down on the mat here. So standing roll down. Draw your chin to your chest and calm down and let your head hang. And feel, how do you feel at the back of the legs, the back of the hips? Do they feel tight first thing in the morning? Do you have lack of mobility in the hamstrings? Do you feel like you're kind of having to push your bottom back here to allow the round shape to happen? I suggest bending the knees as much as you need to really curl into your spine. Just relax your head for a moment. Take a big deep breath in, guys. Breathe into your belly. And then out breath, walk your hands forward into a 4-point kneeling position. All right, we're going to do our hip controlled articular rotations, the hip cars from this position. Just to note, if you have a wall beside you, it's really handy to sometimes lean up against a wall. That can give you even greater feedback of the standing leg staying still and the gesture leg being able to move independently. I don't have a wall, however, so I'm just going to start from here. What I'd like you to do is keep the other side of your body still, draw this leg in, and try and draw it in without rounding your back. So pull your chest forward. Take it out as high as you can, circle it up as high as you can, and lower it down. Repeat that so, 2 more times in this direction. So this is your baseline for the session. What is the quality of the movement? We're going to reverse, guys, in your hip rotations. And I want you to feel like you're scraping the edges of your hip barrel. You're searching for that highest point, the deepest point, last one, as much as possible. Second side, leg comes forward, out to the side, up and down. Because of your bent knee position, your hamstrings will be working. You want to make sure that the knee's not working here. Keep the heel close to the bottom and make it purely about the movement and around your hip. Do note, because this is a 45-minute session, we're going to reverse. There are only a few repetitions that I'll be doing. I would suggest going through and doing at least 8 to 10 repetitions of all the exercises that I have today to really make it a juicy hip session. So you could take it up to about an hour. All right, so we're going to compare those as well. Let's come into 90-90 position, or deer pose in yoga, where your front knee is in line with your hip, your back knee is also in line with the back hip. This back foot, I don't want it to tuck under, I actually want it in line with the knee. Toes are flexed and legs are active for both legs. This is really hard and you're toppling over, no problem. Just bend the knee in and then it'll be a little bit easier, but do try for this position. Okay, you're going to take your hands to your chest. We're going to keep the legs still and move the spine around the hips. So from here, breathing in. Turn towards the back leg. Curl forward. It's not a huge movement. Curl towards the front leg. Good, go to the side. And then look up and extend your back and continue the circle. Couple things to note as you keep moving. Both legs are active. Both legs are gently pushing into the floor. Inner knee, inner ankle of the back trail leg. The front leg, outer knee, outer ankle, little toe. One more time, curling in. Moving your spine, your mid and upper back around your waistline. Great, and then just stay facing back to the trail leg, grab a hold, breathing in deep into the ribs and the belly for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go a nice little windmill of the arms and go the other direction, like you might do in yoga, your cobra upward dog. Lift up, pull your chest and heart forward and up as you push into your legs. And then just fold forward. Get a little stretch there, everyone. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep pushing into your trail leg. 2, 1, and arrive. Take the arm up, take it back behind you, and just window wipe your legs from side to side. In the first video that I did, hips part 1, or juicy hips part 1, we stayed in the 90-90 degrees and we did what we call an FRC, functional range conditioning, Hale's rails or isometric contractions. If you go back to that video and do those, it's a wonderful place to start. They do take a while, so I'm not doing them today, but review the first session and then redo this one. Okay, so here we go. Over towards the back leg. Curling to the front leg. Extend the spine. Look up. And round. Good. Now, whenever you're in the 90-90 position, you have to kind of lower your expectations of just how far you can move. Ugh. It might feel like a long way. That trail leg is an internal rotation, so there's not a lot of room to move your back. Feel the freedom of movement though, guys. The ability to move around your hips. One more time. And stretched into the back leg. Hold up. Breathe into here, breathe into your belly for 8, 7. Keep pulling yourself to your back knee. And release. Take the arms up, windmill the other way. Still pushing down through your legs, you're here. And what I'd like you to do is lift up, lift through the spine, find this energetic upward motion as your legs anchor. And then fold round the back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And arrive up. Fantastic. Window wiper the legs. All right, you will need 2 blocks handy. Not using them just yet, but if you do have them, that is great. Let's come onto all fours again. Our 4-point series, abduction. So from here, what I want you to feel is that you're not so much moving into your spine. As we take the outside leg out, yeah, sliding it away, you'll get a nice inner thigh growing position or stretch, and then we just move forward and back. Yeah, the same thing that can sometimes happen in the squat. You get this kind of butt winking lower back movement. Try and keep your lower back still. And as you can see, I'm placing my hand, I can dig my fingers into the hip, and I get a sense of what is working here. So, keep going, I'm just going to check, keep going, move forward and backwards. Good. All right, and then from here, hold it, back onto your hands, belly strong, slide the leg back in. Here's our drill. Fire hydrant, take it out to the side as high as you can. Karate kick it out to the side. Bring it back in and lower back down. Lift it up. Karate kick it. You'll notice I'm not moving any other part of my body. So what you want to avoid is this. Yeah? You guys lift it as high as you can, as much as your leg is willing to lift. Karate kick it and reach. Outer hip pulls it up. Quadriceps, pull the knee up. You bend again and down. Last one. Up. Karate kick. Bring it back and in. Okay, now that is hopefully warmed up, here's where it gets interesting. You're going to take a block. Bring your knee onto the block like so. And you're bringing it out far where it can rest. The other block or the book comes onto your back to give you feedback that you're not moving here. And in fact, you can see here I'm dipping into my lower back. If I work my lower belly, I keep that connection pushing into the block. Okay, so my leg's out to the side. I'm going to push into the block. Obviously, hopefully the knee's okay here. 10 seconds as hard as I can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You'll be working your inner thigh. 2, 1. And then from here, guys, levitate that knee off. Hold 10, 9. It levitates off the block and you hold it in isometric contraction. And release. Today, we're only going to do 3 to keep moving through. Push down and hold. 10. Push down 9. 8, 7, 6, 5. Belly in. 2, so the back doesn't do the lift. Now just before you're about to lift, draw the belly up towards that block on your back and lift the leg. 8. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Now if your knee isn't lifting, totally fine, yeah? What you want to think is Jedi mind trick it to lift. Even if you're feeling the action of where you want to go, work these as much as possible. Doesn't have to lift, but that's where we're going. All right, push down. 10, strong. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. As hard as you can. 2, 1, and lift off. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Fantastic. some blood flow come back into the hips, and we're going to go straight into the other side. So if I turn around, so you can see my outside leg comes out. You guys can just do the other leg, of course. And from here, just moving forward and backwards. Once again, I'm going to place my fingers on my lower back, deep into my spine, and just notice if there's any wiggling around. Try and keep as still by working your belly up and towards your fingertips. And get a sense of it's in your hips, not your back, trying to get that deep depth of hip flexion. Last one. Great, and then we combine with the we do the fire hydrant drill. So come back in, think about a strong core, imaginary book or block on your back, and you take it out to the side, guys. Straight out, knee and ankle ideally at the same height. Go for your kick. Bring it back in and arrive back. Do the best job that you can to keep the whole body steady and both arms straight. There's tendency to do this. Here we go. 4, 3. How high can you get? 2. And 1. Bring it in and find your block. Block on the back and knee on the block. So from the side, just so you can visualize this, from the side I am here. So it's supported to start with, but then of course I have to get that lift off, which means I can't really cheat and go too low. Challenging yourselves to get lift off at a higher range that you think possible. All right, hands down. I'm going to move that block back so it's a little bit more in line with my knee, and then here we go, belly up and towards the top block. Push down heavily into the knee block. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The side of the hip, those abductor muscles, lift off, hold 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Reset. Take a big deep breath in. Tendency is to hold the breath in these ones. Keep breathing through. Here we go. Push down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Intensify that push. Build it up from about 10%, maybe to 80%. It's strong. And here we go. Squeeze that butt cheek on top. Lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Sorry guys. All right, here we go. Last round. Pushing down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Good. Hold 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. All right, taking the blocks off. Stay with them, however, blocks or books, as you will need them for this next part. Straight into a hip flexor stretch to bring some life and blood flow back into that back hip. Like you would do in yoga, your Anjani Asana. However, your low lunge, what I want you to feel is that you're not dumping into the lower back. Lift out like you're suspended from the ceiling. Notice the difference in your back and hip when you just drop down. Lift. Tuck the tail under, and then energetically, front foot and back foot are going to pull together to center. And I want you to build that intensity up. So push the feet down, pull to center. 10%, 20%, 40%. Keep tucking the tail under. 60, 80. All right, let's hold 80%. Keep drawing into the center. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in the position, guys. Breathe in. Keep the lift through the spine. Try not to lose any height, like your head is pushing up towards the ceiling. I want you to release off the contraction and just see if you can keep height, but pull your hip forward into more hip extension. Stay at that range and breathe in. In a session, in a class, I would ask you to do 2 more of those, to aim to get more range of motion. Just 1 today though, so you could follow the sequence and do more repetitions. So that's building up the intensity, working your back hip flexor while it's on stretch. It's at its very end range, its longest range, and then you're asking it to work. We're predominantly strongest in our mid-range of our muscles and our strength. So this is just tapping into those outer ranges and getting us strong there. All right, use the blocks of the books, roll onto the top of the kneecap if you can, reach around and give yourself a little quadricep twist stretch. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if you can bring yourself to face forward. Draw the heel in as much as you can. Yeah. Work and feel the back of your hamstrings, like you're squeezing something behind your knee. Yeah. Hold that position and you're going to take your hand away and hold it. You might get a hamstring cramp. That's okay. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a hold of it again. Relax into the stretch. We'll do one more of those. Breathe in. All right, squeeze the back thigh, hamstrings, bum, heel, pull it as close to your bottom as you can. Lift the lower back out of the hip so you're not dumping there. And here we go. Hold it. 8, 7, 6, 5. Maybe taking the arms up might make it easier to not go into the lower back. Whew. And then release. Nice work. All right, step it back into 4-point kneeling with the blocks of the books and just circle out in the hips. So your end range hamstrings, your hamstrings do not like to be in that position. Yeah, but that's a great one, especially to actively stretch your quadriceps. Quite a hard muscle to stretch, or set of muscles I should say. All right, here we go, second side, take that leg forward. Anjaneyasana, so the back knee, you want behind the hip joint rather than 90 degrees. I love using blocks. It brings the floor up to where the floor up higher to enable me to not to crunch down and to get more elongation. So my spine is erect. I can play around with that tail tucking under. Yeah, so tail tucks, pubic bone moves forward and up, and then lunge a little further until you find your stretch. And then here we go. You're going to build up the intensity, guys. You're going to push down with both feet. Down and pull the legs together slowly. 10%, intensify 20%, 40%, keep lifting. 60, ramp it up to 80, hold that contraction strong. Maybe the arms come up. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the hands down, don't lose the position. Breathe in. And then see if you can take a little bit of a further stretch, softening into a new range of motion and breathing there. Again, if you're doing this again, please do 2 more rounds of that. Here we go. You're going to come into that gentle twist. Roll onto the top of the knee, reach around opposite hand and get a yoga type twist where you're supporting, obviously, and able to move the spine into rotation. You'll note that your hamstring is at its shortest. However, because your hand is on your foot, it's an external force, it's a passive stretch, it's not an active stretch. So your arm is supporting you here to bring you into this deep range of motion. The challenge is, can you hold it there by activating your hamstring? So that's the challenge that I invite you to acquire into your body. Here we go, so turn to face the front, tuck the tail under, imagine you're squeezing something behind your knee, work that hamstring, and hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Caveat, if you do get a hamstring cramp, it is normal. 2, 1, and again, one more of those. Twist, look over your shoulder. Back to center. Tuck the tail under, work the core. Pull the heels close towards your bum as you can and hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. All right, bring it back to the knees and just circle and release. This is subtle work, everyone, but you will feel it in the hips, yeah? slightly different kind of workout for the hips than maybe a fast-paced Pilates class or HIIT class or something like that. And more active, obviously, mobility than you might get in your yoga class. Okay, so here we go. Coming down onto your stomach. Hopefully feeling that it's okay in the hips to be down here. Yeah. That you feel like you've got a little bit of space and you're not going into your lower back. First part, your arms can be just here, or you can be all the way down, whatever you prefer. What I'd like you to do is take your peace sign fingers, pop them underneath your hip bones, both. Squash your hip bones into your fingertips and feel that there's even connection, even pressure. Maintain that as you bend your leg, the leg closest to the camera, once again working the hamstring. Good. Now lift off. Now notice, do you apply pressure into one side of the fingertips? Can you try and even out the pressure into both hips, both fingertips, both sides? Good, and then lower back down and lengthen, that's one. Bend, lift off. Find the pressure, lower down and lengthen, that's two. Bend, lift off, lower down, three. Let's do one more of those. Bend, lift off, and lengthen. All right, keep the fingertips if you can. It's a great feedback. Bend the knee. This time I want you to lift off, find that lift off range, and you're going to move the ankles side to side like a window wiper. So when it goes out away from the body, you'll be getting a little bit of internal rotation. When you cross the ankle across the midline, you'll be getting external rotation in your hip. So just window wiper and notice what happens to the pressure underneath your fingertips. And I'm going to say keep your lower belly, your abs, just gently working here. Challenge yourself by moving through these two movements. A little tiny lift of your thigh bone so the work is deep in your hip. Keeping even pressure through the fingers. 2, 1, and release. Okay guys, take your arms out in front. As best as you can, keep your hip bones now pushing onto the floor. That same leg, I want you to slide it out along the floor. Yeah, you will feel a little bit of back work here. Slide it up into what we call the single leg frog position, and then slide it back. That might be enough for you today, yeah? Just to get the sliding, or it might be that you stagger it up and stagger it back. If you can, lift the thigh, bend the knee, rotate, keep it lifted. As you pull out to the side, land it, lift up, bring it back. Bring it out to the side. Because you're in contact with the mat, you don't have far to go, right? So this is hard because if you're in a 4-point kneeling position, you'd sort of be compensating by leaning backwards and forwards and side to side. The floor doesn't lie. You have feedback of where you are in space. This is our last one. You're going to come out, land it. If that means that you're there, guys, and it's more comfortable, a little bit lower, fine. Otherwise, bring it up. And what I want you to do, if you need to pad something under your knee, please do so. But we're going to go for lift-offs here, internal, external rotation. Pull your spine long, draw in your lower belly, and then just lift your ankle off, going into internal rotation of your hip joint, and down. 5 of these. Another 3. As much as you can, keeping your hip bones pushing down to the floor. Otherwise, what can tend to happen is you lift off, but you compensate by rolling the pelvis. Lift up as much as possible, and then we're going to go the other way. This time the inner ankle stays down, and you try and lift your knee off. 5, lower it down. External rotation at this hip. As you can see, this is a struggle for me. This is not a huge lift. 3. Working here. 2, lift it up. And 1. Good. And release. Sliding it back in and just shimmying your hips from side to side. and arriving back into a child's pose before we do, or modified child's as I'm doing, before you do the other side. Stretch your back out. Stay for a couple of breaths, and then come on over, and I'm going to demonstrate obviously the other way so you can see what's happening. So first one, hip bones underneath the fingertips. Pressing the hip bones generously and evenly down onto your fingertips. The leg lifts into a hamstring curl, and then you lift up. And you notice, does all the weight go onto that side? Try and push your hip bones evenly into your fingertips, both sides. Lower down, lengthen, that's 5. Bend. Squeeze the bum, lift, down. And as this is an active mobility session, you're taking it as high as you can. Down. Good. 2 to go. 1. Great. Okay, we're going to bend it. Keep the fingertips where they are. And move the foot outside the mat. And then bring it back and cross the midline. Try and do that with the thigh bone just slightly lifted off the mat. Window wiping your ankle and your knee side to side. As your thigh bone just levitates off, and see what's the quality of movement. And yes, your hamstring is still working in this position, a little bit of bum. 2, 1, great. All right, stretch it out, take your arms out in front, a little bit of side to side motion. Still aiming to keep your hip bones level. Slide the leg along as high as you can. Notice if the bum's completely lifted or the hip bone's lifted, anchor it down and then slide it back. Maybe you can do that with the leg lifted now. Yeah, without it touching the floor. Then touch the floor, lift off, and bring it back. Let's do 3 more. Coming out, land it, up, and back. Bring it out, land it, up, and back. Last one. Great, bring it out. Hold. Okay, so your knee's out in line with your hip. You're going to lift your ankle off. Try and get both hip bones down and then bring it back. Internal rotation of this hip in your frog, single leg frog position. For 3, for 2, 1, let's go the other way. Press the inner ankle in, try and lift your knee off. 5, and down. So the hard one, work the bum. 4, and down. 3, 2, and 1. See, I'm struggling a little bit here. And release. Bring it back in. Shimmy your hips from side to side. And then bring yourselves back. Cat stretch, child's pose, whatever feels good to gently mobilize the back, stretch it out. Stay for a couple of breaths here, guys. And then from here, you're going to come into Malasana, your yogi squat, or a deep squat. So, starting off, toes can be turning out. I'll go sideways, coming down. And usually in Malasana, you kind of drop down and palms go here, and it's a nice little stretch. The elbows can push against the thighs. What I want you to do is find a position where you're not hanging out on your bum. Your bum actually has to work here. So, feeling the even pressure through the 3 corners of the feet, big toe, little toe, and center of the heel, dropping the butt down and lifting the spine. And then lift a little, just that little inch higher than you might usually go in Malasana. Lift up. Now push against the thighs. This time I'm now going to come forwards. You're pushing against your thighs that way. Your thighs are resisting pushing in this way. We build up the intensity. 10%, 20%. So again, thigh bones are pushing inwards, elbows are pushing against. 40%. Keep your chest lifted. 60. 80. Hold it at 80. Good, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And remember guys, you're not completely relaxed down, your bum is working. Squeeze it, because you're gonna need it on this next part. Okay, notice where your elbows are. Stay in the same position. Squeeze your butt cheeks and try and pull your thighs back in space to create a little bit of space in between the elbows and the knees. So from the side, this is what happens. Watch the space in between my elbows and knees. Push back, hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push back on. Build up the intensity, 10%. Pushing in with the thighs, out with the elbows. This is your inner thigh work. Ramp it up. Should be about 60% now. 80%. Hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in the position, breathe in, squeeze your glutes, lift your thigh bones away from your elbows, push the legs back. Last one. 8, 7, squeeze. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fingertips drop down very gently. The hamstrings are going to feel pretty tight at this point. Wander yourself back to the mat, onto your bottom, where we're going to get some lovely active hamstring length now. So from here in this position, what I'd like you to do is roll onto your back. Take one leg down, hold onto the thigh. Maybe you need to curl up so it's still quite tight. Bend, stretch, flex, point. Bend, stretch, flex, point. 2, 1. All right, we're going to go into the Pilates single leg circle, which is an active circle. You're using your hip flexors, you're using the quads, arms come down. Anchor through the bottom leg and circle, cross the midline, get a nice active stretch through the muscles that we've been working quite hard. Draw down. Now when you take the leg out to the side, the opposite butt cheek anchors down. Pull it as close towards your face as you can, guys. Cross the midline, down, to the side, pull up. Now if you get all sorts of uncomfortable hip clicking, hip popping is quite normal, but you might decide that if you're really uncomfortable doing this, and I want you to work to the full range, you could have a TheraBand around your foot and hold the TheraBand, yeah? There is the option to bend the knee, but what I really want us to do is lengthen that hamstring out. That's been in a shortened position for a long time. Last one. All right, hold it up, curl up. Pull the hamstring in close towards you. Pull the thigh bone deep into the socket. Hold that, guys. Now you're going to keep that position if you can. If you want to add added ab work, the other leg lifts up but the lower back doesn't arch, and then you release. And you're pulling the leg as close towards you as you can for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. At home, repeat this 2 times. Today, just once. Yeah? Leg comes up, opposite leg. Hold it. Maybe you're here if that feels better. Bend, stretch, point, flex. Point, bend. Get things moving again. Good. Last one. All right. Arms down, leg goes up, cross the midline, single leg circle. Shoulders stay down. Circle down to the foot, out to the side, opposite hip stays down. When you circle across the midline, let the hip lift up. Get the stretch. All right, here we go, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. Curl on it. Pull it towards you. If you did the lower back, if you did the leg lifting off on the other side, please do so. Otherwise, keep working your belly, pull it close towards you. And here we go. Active scissors. This leg, you're pulling it as close to your face as you can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet go down, everyone. Peel your hips up into a bridge position. Take your arms overhead, roll the spine down. Float your arms back to the floor. Roll the spine up, pelvis lifts, bridge position. Take your arms overhead, melt back down one vertebra at a time, hands touch back onto the floor. Roll to bridge, arms overhead, roll back down to mat, hands touch the floor. 2 more of these, roll it up, arms overhead, roll down. Now find the longest version of yourself, lift up, reach the knees forward. Feel this length through not only the back body but also the front. The arms come up, take a big deep breath in, palm to palm if you can. And 3 percussive breaths out. Upper back draws down first, breathe in, mid back, lower back. Hug the knees in towards your chest, circle out, 3 times, out and in. And then from here, gather your legs, rock and roll forward and backwards, massaging the spine. Whew, got a bit sweaty and fogging up my glasses here. All right, here we go, rolling on up. Coming back into 4-point kneeling. And just reviewing and seeing how you feel doing your hip cars. So bring one leg in towards you, bring it out to the side, take it up to the ceiling, and bring it down. How does that feel? From when you first did this exercise at the very beginning. One more in this direction. And there is no particular way that you have to feel, right? Everyone might have a different sensation. Sensation usually that comes to my hips is it's more buttery, it's more accessible. There's less sort of cracks and groans of my hips going into a bit of despair at what I'm asking them to do. Hopefully what we've cultivated is a little bit more space to access more range of motion, so when you go up, it's not your back lifting this leg up high. Sorry, you've changed legs, I do apologize, I didn't mention to change legs, but 3 in the other direction, 3 in the other side. Good, and reversing. Does it feel smoother? Does the range of motion feel bigger? All right, downward facing dog, everyone. Walk it in. Roll yourself up. And I'll just adjust the camera again so you can see more of me. As we finish off, once again comparing the squat and the Cossack. So in the squat, you take your legs to the same start position, coming down and up. How does that feel for you? Not necessarily how does it look for you, but how does it feel? Can you get deeper than you usually do with quite a lot of freedom? You're not really having to push from it. It feels more effortless to get deeper. Yeah? Can you get to that depth without doing any butt winks? Yeah? So when you come down, you don't get the feeling and coming up. One more time. And then coming to your Cossack, so lunging. And how does that one feel? How do the inner thighs feel? Do you feel almost ninja-like that you could get a deeper depth and come back up? So playing around with this work and then exploring just simple movements that you might usually do in, say, a functional class or a yoga class, and go, have I accessed more range? Is this position more accessible? Can I take it further into my pose now because I've released and created more usable range of motion in my hips? Maybe release some tissues that are a bit wound up, tighten some tissues that might have needed a bit of strengthening. All right, come back to center, everyone. Take your feet, stay wide. We'll finish off with a standing saw, so breathing in. Twist to one side without your hips, just the spine. Roll down. Reach the arm up to the ceiling, roll back up. Back to center. Twist from the bra line, the mid-back, not from the hips. Roll down. Roll back up. And center. One more on each side. Grow tall, like a spiral twist up, you go round. curl towards that foot as the other arm reaches up. Restep. To center. Change. Roll down. Restep. Back to center. Whew. Take your legs back in. And you guys are done. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have experienced something new, whether it was traumatizing in your hips from the session or freeing. Yeah, I'd love to hear your comments on how you went. Any questions, please let me know on the Whole Health Project, or follow me, stella.movement. And I would love to help, obviously, with any questions that you have. And if you're in a position to donate and you really enjoyed this class, I do thank you in advance. Otherwise, share along and enjoy your weekend ahead, everybody. I'll see you another time. Namaste. Thank you so much.